Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing on a beautiful Kansas day? Blue skies, as they were just singing about. We are so happy and excited to have you joining us for the grand reopening of the Kansas Museum of History. This is a day more than 3 years in the making, and we're so excited to have you join us for it. Yeah, we can cheer for that. We're finally back open. I can attest that they still have had ladders up this morning and vacuums out and dusters out, and they are making it absolutely beautiful. I'm Melissa Bruner with WIBW TV, news director, anchor, and neighbor. We are right across the field and proud to continue to call the Kansas Museum of History our neighbors, as we have since 1984 when we were up on the hill. We're even a little closer now. First of all, before we go any further, how about a warm round of applause for the Lawrence Children's Choir under the direction of Gabe Lewis O'Connor. And we have another special guest with us with another performance to get things started today. Please join me in welcoming Jeremy Shield, Crow Nation of Montana, currently with Haskell Indian Nations University in Lawrence. Jeremy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I was asked to share a couple songs with you guys. I work at Haskell. I've been at Haskell for 27 years. I work with the grounds crew maintenance and then also assistant softball coach. My daughter's the head coach, so I help her out a lot. And I deal with a lot of the native aspects on Haskell, helping out the students, because we get a lot of students from off-reservations, inner cities. And the president, Matthew Moore, asked me to try to teach them the proper protocols of the Indian ways, the native ways. So the first song I'm going to sing is going to be a prayer song, helping us go forward from where we're at to later for future endeavors here at the museum, and that everything goes in the right direction, you know, for us here. Dedicated to all of us here. So if you can please stand, and then It's a prayer song, and when we sing, so our native people, the reason why we sing is in the morning, in the springtime, what do you hear? Birds. So the birds are singing. So when they sing like that, they're telling all us other elements in life, they're enjoying their lives here. That's why they sing. And they're happy that everything's coming back to life. Everything's growing again. The green, the grass, everything's growing. So those birds are happy, so they're singing. So everything us Native Americans do when we go anywhere, there's an opening song, honor song, prayer song. And when we sing, that's what we do. We're showing everybody we enjoy our life, that we're enjoying our short life here on earth. And that's why we sing. And a little history on the song I'm going to sing is made by my grandfather, John Around Him, on my dad's side, who is Oglala Lakota. And he made a lot of songs up in South Dakota area, the region there. And a lot of people know him. There's even John Around Him Day recognizing him for all the work that he's done for the Oglala Lakota people. So I'm going to sing one of his songs for our prayer song today. And pray along. When we say Matakuyasin, that means all our relatives. As you know, when we go to church, you say amen or amen, you know. So it's similar to that. The reason why we say all our relatives is we believe we're all related in some way. If you look at the medicine wheel or the drum, everything's a circle, and we all live there, the earth, you know. So that's the opening prayer song. And then go ahead and be seated. I'm going to talk a little bit. So I'm very lucky to know what I know. I'm a young man, I feel like, still. But I grew up on the Crow Reservation and the Oglala Reservation in both Montana and South Dakota. And I was raised by some outstanding singers. On my mom's side is the Old Horn family. I know a lot of you probably don't powwow or anything, but we're known for the double beat songs in the powwow world. Those songs come from our family, the Old Horn family. And then on my dad's side, I already shared with you my grandfather, the songs that he has made for our prayers and my sun dances, sweat lodges, and all that. My grandfather, John Around Him, made all of those. So I live them every day. I try to live my best life, you know, and then being honored to come here and sing and share my knowledge with you guys, you know, that I was, I don't want to say given, but taught, you know, because it took a lot to learn all of these things, you know. And I'm very fortunate to be able to share with our Haskell students. I see a Haskell student right there. So I always try to share. I always tell them, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I ain't gonna lie for you, you know. And I try to teach them the right things, you know, because there is protocol within our drums, our ceremonies. So, so this next song I'm gonna share with you. Again, I was lucky to learn from some great men. So this one here, on my Crow side, we don't sing memorial songs. I was told by my uncles and my grandfathers that we don't have memorials on the Crow side because you treat everybody right today when they're alive. So you don't try to remember them later. Do it now when they can see it. When they can see it with their own eyes, you know, honor them when they're alive, is what they're saying. And treat people right, you know, treat people how you want to be treated, you know. So that's the Crow side. So the Oglala side, they sing a lot of memorial songs. And actually in the Oglala side, every year for 4 years after a person's death, they have to have a giveaway, our ceremony on that day. So that's really deep into the memorial side. But growing up, my oldest sister, she married into the Red Bull Singers of Saskatchewan. And I got to learn from Edmund Bull himself this song that I'm gonna share with you. And luckily, I don't know if you guys been in the Crow Reservation in Montana. It's right off of I-90, coming down into Wyoming. And I live right off the interstate. And the singers up in Canada, when they're coming down to America, sometimes they're looking for young guys to help them sing. So luckily, my brother-in-law would call me, and then his uncle, who is Edmund Bull, would call me and say, "Hey, I need some singers. You want to go sing?" You know. And Edmund Bull, the big time, like he's nominated for the NAMMYs, Grammys, you know. And he would pick me up, and I'd go with him wherever they were going. Sometimes New Mexico, Arizona, Oklahoma, a couple of times here to the Potawatomi Reservation. And so I'm going to sing a memorial song that he taught me himself at the drum. We were singing at the Gathering of Nations one year, and they asked us to sing a memorial song. This song here is like, if you guys are spiritual, you'll feel it, you know. So go ahead and have you guys stand again. And this is for, okay. And this is for, you know, this is a history museum, and everything's going forward. And our ancestors, a lot of our ancestors' histories over here in the building. The Potawatomi house is right here. So this is to remember them. And then also working at Haskell, we have a cemetery on our campus. And a lot of those kids were brought here without them even knowing they were brought here, against their will. And so I always try to share that with our students, you know, because they get to choose to come to school here at Haskell now, when those kids couldn't. And I always ask them to remember. On the softball team, I always tell them, pick one of those little kids over there and play for them, because they didn't have a chance. Again, think about your ancestors and your loved ones. Hey, ha, la, ha, hey, 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 ha, ha, ya, ya, ha, hey, ha, ya, ha, ya, hey, ha, ya, hey, 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 ah, hey, 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 ah, hey, hey. Yahweh Bekeskat Besawat Anage Yapa Iwe Wapama Ahe He Ahe Hai Besawat Anage Yapa Niwe Wapa Ma Ahele Ahe Hai Hey ha ho ya ya ha hey ha ya ha oh hey ha yo hey 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 oh hey 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 oh hey ho Yahweh Nebekeskat Nebesawat Nebesa Sekwetan Anage Yapa Iwe Wapama Ahe He Ahe Hoi Ah hey le ah hey hoi Yahweh Nebekeskat Nebesawat Nebesa Sekwetan Anage Yapa Iwe Wapama Ah hey hey ah hey hoi. All right, thank you. You bet. You bet. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. We are in a museum of history, and it is a museum, a place that tells the story of all who came before and all that shaped us as a state, and a state that is part of our great nation. The story is told here of the peoples that helped shape this land, the native peoples, all of the various cultures that came to call Kansas home. Here to share a little bit more about part of that history, please welcome Jancita Warrington, Kansas Native American Affairs Executive Director. Jancita.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to thank my brother Jeremy for all of the history and knowledge that he shared with us about tribal cultures to start us off in a good way here this morning. But as they said, my name is Jancita Warrington. I am from the Menominee and Potawatomi Nations, and I am the Executive Director of Native American Affairs for the state of Kansas. I'm happy to be here today to say a few words on behalf of the 4 resident tribes of Kansas. This land we are standing on today is the original homelands of the Kanza, otherwise known by their government name, the Kaw and the Osage. After removal of several tribes to Oklahoma, the Potawatomi or as the government referred to them, the Potawatomi, came here and bought this land and were relocated here to Kansas in the Treaty of 1846. Today, we are all standing on original treaty land of the Potawatomi, and the schoolhouse just outside of our doors here reminds us of that unique history and story of this land. This new Kansas history exhibit that we're all here to support is one to be admired and commemorated. The immersive experience that will bring Kansas history to life in a way that it was always meant to be recognized, honored, and celebrated. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Sarah Bell and staff for the inclusiveness and thoughtful detail they have incorporated into every panel, every section, and every corner of this exhibit. I would also like to extend acknowledgement to Dr. Nikki Klarman and her team for the exemplary model and respectful tribal collaborations that are ongoing. Both directors have incorporated respectful collaborations and partnerships in their work with the 4 tribes here in the state. This kind of collaboration not only enhances the vibrancy of our state's history, but it continues to strengthen the fabric of our state's future. The result of Dr. Bell's team's hard work and numerous collaborations throughout this 2-year renovation will serve all Kansans and profoundly impact visitors both near and far for years to come. On behalf of the 4 tribes here in the state, they would like to commend the tribal history sections of this exhibit and look forward to continued collaborations that will enhance our state's understanding of the unique tribal history that commenced long before Kansas statehood and continues to shape Kansas history today into the future. Thank you.
I promise we don't have a hugely long program planned for you today because we know that the star of the show is behind us, which you can't see yet. All right. Thank you so much, Jancita. Appreciate your thoughts. I know a lot of you are looking forward to this day with a lot of great anticipation. I know we as neighbors have been asking the same question that a lot of you have been asking. Isn't the museum open yet? Almost, almost. Raise your hand if you're asking that question, right? Right? When is it going to happen? It's because they have been taking a lot of time to make sure that they do this right and tell this story in a new and vibrant way. So mark this special day. I know you are eager to enter the doors, so we're going to provide you with just a little bit to celebrate the people and the steps that made today a reality, so you know what all of this took. We want to acknowledge some special guests who are joining us today, so please raise your hand. Are any of our congressional representatives here or representatives of their offices? You haven't been promoted yet, Kyle. Watch it there. Are you making an announcement today? No. That's not what this is about. State legislators, now you can raise your hand. Representative McNorton, Senator Dietrich, some of our other representatives, Tobias is here. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for what you've done to support the Kansas History Center. Our mayor of Topeka, for a few weeks more, Mayor Mike Padilla, thank you so much for joining us. I have not seen Mayor-elect Duncan, but he might be hiding in the back. I haven't seen anyone. But if he's here, he can wait. Well, we can wave to him from afar. Also, any Historical Society board members, thank you. Raise your hands so we can let you know that we appreciate you. Thank you all so much. This has been a long time coming. Historical Society staff members, raise your hands. You guys have been working so many hours on this. And if I also may give a brief acknowledgement, in light of the events over the past week, I see several of them in uniform. They patrolled this area, which means they also are keeping an eye on us next door. Any Kansas Highway Patrol Capitol police officers, thank you for what you do each and every day. And now please welcome the Executive Director of the Kansas Historical Society, Mr. Patrick Zollner.
Well, wow, it's great to see this lobby full of people again. Thank you and welcome. I know we've all been waiting a long time for this day to come. In fact, you might say we've been waiting for 150 years, because in 1875, the Kansas Historical Society was founded by the Kansas Editors and Publishers Association to preserve our state's history. So it seems especially fitting that we are opening the new museum gallery this year to celebrate this anniversary. In the beginning, we weren't really set up to store any collections, and we just had a single drawer in the state auditor's office in the State House. Within a few days of our founding, we received our first newspaper donation, the Ellsworth Reporter, and as the newspapers continued to arrive, we graduated to a single room in the State House. Our first three-dimensional object was a pen used by a stenographer during the congressional hearings of 1856 that investigated the border troubles in Kansas. So soon we were cramming exhibit cases in all the nooks and crannies and corridors of the Capitol, to the irritation of some of the state officials who had their eyes on the space we occupied. So a solution for that, for the need for more room and to preserve our ever-expanding history, came in 1914 when we moved into the new memorial building that we shared with the Grand Army of the Republic. I know many of you still have fond memories of the museum there on the 3rd and 4th floors, because we get tons of comments still on our social media accounts missing those period rooms. So, but we eventually outgrew that space as well. Rather than build a new facility in the Capitol Plaza, as was initially discussed, this 80-acre site of the 1849 Potawatomi mission was ultimately selected. The gift of Santa Fe's oldest surviving steam locomotive was a major attraction, and I've lost count of the number of people that tell me they were present when it was moved into this building on rails. And I assure you, it's still back there behind these doors. It's the one thing in the museum that we didn't move. The newly named Kansas Museum of History opened in June 1984, and exhibits were added in phases. The final portion was completed in 1989. The new museum won many awards. However, time marches on, and as a chronological gallery, with the newest section being the recent past of the 1970s, updating exhibits proved difficult, and there was no space to expand the time frame. It became clear that we had to transition from a pre-computer era to one where we each carry a computer in our hands. Even more important, our visitors said they wanted a wow experience. Under the leadership of Executive Director Jenny Chan and Kansas Historical Foundation Director Vicki Henley, we began planning for a new gallery within the existing infrastructure. There would be no new building this time. The $1 million gift from the Hansen Foundation in 2015 launched the campaign to raise $6 million in private funds for the new gallery exhibits. Jenny liked to describe the ta-da moment when visitors experience and understand the real importance of an object in history. She had just begun to focus on the specifics of that vision before her untimely death. While you patiently waited, we planned and regrouped. Jenny's loss and other staff retirements required some transitions. Fortunately, we were able to move ahead with the project under the leadership of our new museum director, Sarah Bell. We've been busy over the last few years researching, writing, and scripting with our creative partners, Dimensional Innovations, to bring you a thematic gallery that wows you with stories of Kansas history. We are so appreciative of the communities and individuals across the state that have helped us along the way. And lastly, a timeline for a project of this magnitude is difficult to predict, and we still have a few details back there to finalize. And so in appreciation for your patience through this long process, we are pleased to announce that admission will be free through the end of the year. And we hope that you will return often to see these updates. And now, Sarah has a few remarks and many special people to acknowledge.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Sarah Bell, and I'm the director of the Kansas Museum of History. We are so excited to welcome you all back to this museum. We have been working tirelessly for 3 years, but especially these last few weeks and nights as we put in the final touches. The artifacts were the first to come out when we started this renovation, and they are the last to go in. You will notice we still have a few final details to finish, especially some of our artifact cases. but we hope you just keep coming back to see all those updates we will continue to make. This new thematic gallery starts by asking the question, what is Kansas? Kansas is sunflowers, tornadoes, the Wizard of Oz, and so much more. It's the stories of everyday people doing extraordinary things. Speaking of extraordinary, I'd like to recognize and thank some of the people who were integral to the success of this gallery. This renovation included artifact removal, demolition, new construction, updates to our life safety, brand new exhibit designs, writing and editing hundreds of labels, cleaning, exhibit fabrication and installation, and artifact installation. We have an incredible team of talented people at the Historical Society, and we could not have finished this huge project without every one of them. I do not have time to thank every person individually, but I have never worked with a more dedicated group of people than the folks here. It is rare to find a team like this who are all so genuinely excited about the work we are doing and who enjoys each other's company and who has a perfect blend of necessary skills for a project of this size. I truly feel honored and lucky to get to work with such talented and passionate people. We also had many, yes, cheers to you all. We also had many individuals outside our agency who were connected to this project and lent their expertise and support. We have assets and images from historical societies across the state who took the time to digitize and send us their photos. I had an outstanding group of exhibit script reviewers who gave me thoughtful feedback and ensured every label in the gallery was accurate and peer-reviewed. We had the incredible opportunity to work with some of our most esteemed Kansans, including globally recognized artist Stan Hurd, National Geographic photographer Jim Richardson, Academy Award-winning filmmaker Kevin Wilmot, and award-winning, Grammy-nominated country music artist Martina McBride. That was a fun one. There are many Indigenous peoples who have called Kansas their home. We recognize all those tribal nations in our introductory gallery, but I'd especially like to thank representatives from the Kansa, or the Kaw Nation of Oklahoma, who gave us our state's name, and the 4 resident tribes: the Iowa Tribe of Kansas and Nebraska, the Kickapoo Tribe in Kansas, Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation, and Sac and Fox Nation of Missouri and Kansas and Nebraska for their assistance with exhibit content, along with Jancita Warrington, Executive Director of Kansas Native American Affairs. The Historical Society is located on the historic treaty land of Potawatomi Nation, which they acquired in 1846. On your way into this museum, you pass by the Potawatomi Baptist Mission. This history is one of the reasons why it was decided to move the Historical Society here from its downtown location. The museum is honored to have had Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation donate a bison to us from their Buffalo Land Management Program. He has joined our other bison in a beautiful new display in our introductory gallery. The museum and the Historical Society look forward to continued partnerships with tribal nations and our shared goal of being good stewards of the land and preserving our stories and history for future generations of Kansans. Lastly, I want to recognize our partners in this renovation, Dimensional Innovations, or DI. DI was selected almost 10 years ago now because of their creative, out-of-the-box thinking and to help us achieve our goal of a wow experience for visitors. And boy, did they deliver. DI's incredibly talented team brought color and vibrancy to Kansas history. Their stunning displays are the perfect pairing for our artifacts and stories. And their installation team knocked it out of the park with their impeccable work. So, what is Kansas? It is you. We hope that when you walk into the museum and see the new gallery, you will see your stories reflected here. And if you don't see yourself, please let us know. Museums are dedicated to lifelong learning, and that includes the institution. We want to hear from you. With that, I will hand it over to Bo Easley, Creative Director at Dimensional Innovations.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sarah. And thank you all for being here. First, I would like to express my utmost appreciation to the Historical Society for trusting DI with this monumental opportunity. Thank you for taking the leap all those years ago. It's been a remarkable journey full of highs and lows, twists and turns, navigating a pandemic. It's truly an honor to be here and celebrating with you today. It's finally that day that we've been working towards for so long and just been dreaming about. It's a little unreal for me to stand here celebrating today, knowing just how much work has been put into this amazing project. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Bo Easley, and I've had the privilege of serving as being the creative director on this amazing project. I'm very grateful to be joined by many of my DI teammates who have poured so much into making this just the best experience possible. If you're from DI, can you wave to the audience as well? We got a few of us in the back. Thank you for that. Just a quick word on us. We're an experiential design firm, design and build firm, I should mention, located just down the road in Overland Park, Kansas. Our work takes us all over the country. However, we've been a bit on a Kansas streak. And so several of our last projects have been located all in Kansas, which is so exciting. And none more important, in my opinion, about the Kansas Museum of History. So for me personally, this has been truly an opportunity of a lifetime for so many different reasons, but I'll just give you three. First, maybe the most obvious, it's pretty rare that a museum of this caliber wants to embark on a full renovation project. So this is a designer's dream, really. And I would just say that the museum has such courage and guts to want to do something different and just to re-envision their entire space. So yeah, and we believe that anything was possible. Secondly, the opportunity to make a fantastic impact to this amazing community. It is so clear how much that you all love this museum, you love the staff, and you love your state. So while originally I am not from Kansas, I do call Kansas home alongside my wife and our Kansas family. So I am proud to be played a part in just creating a new museum experience for you and the generations to come. Lastly, most importantly, it was an absolute privilege of working alongside and building relationships with this incredible museum staff. We get to work for a lot of talented companies and institutions all across the country, as I said, but the team here is exceptional in every single of the words. So please, as you continue to come back and enjoy the museum, please give them love. Please give them feedback. They are open and wanting to learn and grow. They have it all. They have talent, they have experience, they have creativity, tenacity, guts, and kindness. They are just some of the best people around. Please appreciate them as you enjoy this museum. Just a few more things on my side here. From the beginning, it was very clear just how passionate the staff was, and you can hear that clearly as what Sarah said. I have a little bit of a confession to make. I hated history growing up. My least favorite subject in school, and I really didn't like attending museums. But if you spend just a few minutes with these folks, that passion is palpable and it's contagious. So it's my hope that you feel this passion embedded into what you're about to experience. As Patrick and Sarah mentioned, our task was to deliver a wow experience. What does that mean? How do you do that? As you probably may have gleaned, or if you know anything about our firm, we're not exactly a traditional museum design firm, and we believe that's actually a strength. We take inspiration from all sorts of different industries, so we didn't look to just what current museums are doing or what museums have done. We wanted to make this special, authentic, and unique. So thousands and thousands of hours have been poured into this experience from all sorts of disciplines. Just to name a few, in addition to what Sarah mentioned, we had expertise in interpretive planning, strategy, spatial design, content organization, interior architecture, graphic design, typography, color theory, illustration, motion graphics, linear media design, audio engineering, projection, digital printing, metalwork, woodwork, coding, software development, technology infrastructure, and people who are very, very good at loading, playing Tetris and loading all of those things up on a truck and getting it here to Insight, safe and sound. Just to finish up here, I believe that we've fulfilled the mission that we've set out to do, and I hope that you agree. This is just the beginning of a new era, and I'm so excited for the museum to reopen and for this to continue the discussion for learning and discourse. So a few things, an invitation as you explore the museum, take your time and soak it in. Read the panels, watch the videos, use the interactives. A quick note on that. Interactives are meant to be used, but they're not indestructible. So be gentle, be respectful, please. No, but please use it. Each word and image was thoughtfully put on display for you all, so please enjoy them. I hope you walk away wanting to learn more. I hope you feel challenged. I hope you feel inspired and wowed. I hope you feel proud that this is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm getting more and more excited to see inside, but we have one more very important person we'd like you to hear from before we do that. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Lieutenant Governor David Toland, who also serves as our Kansas Secretary of Commerce, leading some of the largest recruitments of economic development projects in state history. He himself is a seventh-generation Kansan, calling Iowa his hometown. So please welcome Lieutenant Governor David Toland.
Well, I don't know about you, but the last time I got to be in the museum was to get my COVID shot and line up. And this is a much, much happier day, isn't it? So I want to acknowledge our distinguished guests. So nice to see Senator Bowers, Senator Dietrich, Representative Schlingensieben, Mayor and First Lady, so many others. And it is my good fortune to be able to cut the ribbon with all of you here today on behalf of Governor Laura Kelly. In May of 1857, my ancestors, Samuel and Permelia Hubbard, settled on a 160-acre farm along the Neosho River in Allen County in what was then Kansas Territory. They had left the slave state of North Carolina to join the movement to ensure that Kansas would enter the nation as a free state. Permelia's parents joined them in Kansas Territory not long after, and the family set out to build a life for their children and their children's children and beyond, all the way down to me as our family's seventh generation in Kansas. You're going to see that a central question of this museum is, why Kansas? My ancestors came in support of an idea, and they stayed to have their homestead and to build a life, to create a place that we now get to benefit from and call home. The dream of Kansas and its wide open possibilities brought them and so many others here over the generations, and that's our Kansas story. I'm really grateful to be able to know my family's Kansas history thanks to my father, Clyde Toland, who has been a life member of the Kansas Historical Society since he was 15 in 1962. And I have with me here today my mother, Nancy, who is a Kansan by choice. And they have shared with me from the very beginning what Kansas has meant to our family. But not everyone gets that opportunity and knows their Kansas story, which is why this museum is so important. to understand what's happened in this place to shape our nation and to shape our world. We're right here in Kansas. My love for Kansas is rooted in what I have learned about Kansas. And here today in a museum, it's easy to think that we're supposed to be looking backward. And I asked myself as I was writing this speech, who's the one Kansan I have to quote? William Allen White, or Carrie Nation, or Walter Chrysler, or Cyrus Holliday, or Fred Funston, or Clyde Cessna, or William Inge, or Gordon Parks, Eisenhower, John Brown. But after probably overthinking this question, I think the most important thing for us to do today is to look forward. And in looking forward, I'm so excited to think about the people who come through these doors in the future. I think of school buses full of Kansas kids who come in 5th grade to begin their journey of learning and asking and wondering and dreaming Kansas dreams of their next chapter, of their breakthrough. That's truly what we're celebrating today. And we do it because without history, how do we know who we are and where we came from? If we don't know where we came from, how else are we supposed to chart that course to the future in Kansas, for our Kansas kids and for their kids? For me, my mission, my professional mission has been about economic development. And as you probably expect and would hope from a Secretary of Commerce, most of the speeches I give are about economic impact in dollars and cents. And so let me be clear, this museum certainly will have an economic impact and put heads in beds here in Topeka and bring net new dollars into Kansas. But there's so much more to it than that. Because, as I said, we have to understand where we came from in order to chart the future. Kansas is a state that grows things. We grow agricultural products. We're growing our economy right now. But the most important thing that we grow is our people. And with people, the stronger the roots, the taller and stronger they grow. And we've got to have strong people with strong roots tied to who we are and where we came from. Good history helps us see through many lenses. And this museum is for all Kansans to see their history, to learn from it, to see themselves and to take their next step. It's also for those from outside of our state as well to see and experience what makes the Kansas story one of the most important and quintessential in our nation's history. For 150 years, the Kansas Historical Society has been preserving and passing on this legacy. And similarly, for 80 years, Kansas Magazine has also been fueling our fire and pointing to the rich economic, historical, and cultural landscape that makes Kansans who we are. And that's why we're so happy about the Celebrating Kansas exhibit, which is a perfect fit as the inaugural special exhibit here at the museum. And I couldn't be more grateful for the collaboration between Kansas Tourism and the Kansas Historical Society. It's about redefining how others see us from outside the state and reimagining how we see ourselves as Kansans. And I also want to give a huge thank you to a brilliant Kansas company, DI, Bo. Thank you and your team. They're going to blow us all away by what you're going to see on the other side of these doors. And so in closing, I want to thank the many donors who dug deep to make this reimagined museum possible, and so many others, known and unknown, seen and unseen, who gave their time, their talent, and their treasure to make this important day possible. Thank you for the hard work and collaboration. And special thanks, of course, to our director, Sarah Bell, our executive director, Patrick Zollner, and to the late Jenny Chin, whose fingerprints and legacy lives on in this place. For all of those who have a heart and a sense of curiosity for Kansas, I encourage you to tell your friends, tell your families, get them into this museum as soon as possible. And as you do, please pay attention to the classic Kansas red grain truck that you'll see in there. It came from the Geffert family of Allen County, and it worked the same farm that my ancestors settled on in 1857. As William Faulkner said, the past is never dead. It isn't even past. History is all around us, and we must understand it as we chart our course to the future. And as Kansans, we should do so with pride and with appreciation for those who made it possible for us to be here today. And Chairman, thank you for the admonition to remember our ancestors. And so as we cut the ribbon this morning, let us dedicate ourselves to being the good ancestors that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will honor and thank someday for our contributions today, for what we're doing for Kansas today. Ad astra per aspera.
You know, the connections are all around us, and so I hope you find bits of your own story in the museum. When we were counting down to this day, my husband, Doug, who's our chief photographer over at the station, has been looking through our archive video. And in 1981, when they broke ground, this is a history museum, so they didn't use little shovels, right? They brought out a team of draft horses to pull a plow. That team of draft horses were named Prince and Dick and belonged to my husband's grandfather. And so he was so excited to find that film. But this is about all of us. And I know that they said admission was free today, but I am going to make everyone contribute something. It is not a Kansas event if we don't have a group sing along. And the Lawrence Children's Choir did this so beautiful that everyone was gathering and they maybe didn't hear you. So as we all herd cats and get into place to officially cut the ribbon and move this podium out of the way, all of you have to join me in singing our state song, Home on the Range, okay? So participants in the ribbon cutting, please start moving into place. And meantime, the rest of us will go in 3, 2, 1. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraged and the skies are not cloudy all day. Oh, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraged and the skies are not cloudy all day. Good job, everyone. That was awesome. All right, now every good ribbon cutting needs a countdown. So, everyone ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you will notice the screens are clear, the doors are open. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Kansas Museum of History. Thank you for being with us today.